Yes, people. How the devil are you all doing? I hope you're all doing very well. I am doing quite well myself. Welcome back to Chatting Breeze. This week, as you can tell by the title, we have none other than the absolute general that is Cheq stepping into the Chatting Breeze studio. The guy's been on my hit list for a while. If you don't know him, which you definitely do, if you know the label, he is like a hard dance, techno producer, DJ, currently living in Leeds. Quite a sleepy episode, this one. We both had quite a few late nights the past couple of days. We've had pretty big weekends, so allow my tired looking eyes if you're watching the video version and me occasionally staring off into space. But fear not, it's very engaging because Nova knows how to chat the hind legs off a bleeding donkey, so we are all good on that front. As always, there's an extra half an hour of this episode over on the Patreon, patreon.com/belters. You get an extra half an hour of every single podcast as soon as you sign up, along with our entire digital discography as soon as you sign up for £5, which is an absolute bargain. We've also got some forthcoming bits on there right now that haven't even been announced yet. So get over there now. You will not regret it. Chat about loads of stuff on this one. I won't bore you with the details because I've been blabbering for long enough, as always. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Cheq.
A little bit here.
One of them. Syncing it up. Yeah, there we go. Round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. My guy, Cheq, in the studio. What are you saying, bro?
I am tired.
Yeah.
Sleepy.
Let's preface this with saying this might be a sleepy episode of Chatting Breeze, but I got my Red Bull, my man's got his Lucozade, cup of tea. Fingers crossed, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
You had quite a big night last night, didn't you?
Yeah. So I'm down in Bristol. I was playing at the Constitution. It was like a DJs and PJs type situation. So it kind of
fits. DJs and PJs type situation.
It's like the one of those deals. You come down and then like just all the DJs are in pajamas, and you're like, oh, okay, that's just like how it should be in the club, I guess. And it's like, all right, cool. We'll just go from there. But no, it was with like Constitution crew, like doing a little B4B with DJ Love, fucking Mia, and fucking. What's that other guy called? What's that other guy called?
Longees?
Longees?
Everyone rates him, but I don't really back him that much, to be completely honest with you.
No, big up my guy. Killed it last night. It was good fun. And then Michael as well from Off Me Nut.
That was who was closing. It was a different alias though, right?
Yeah. It was the City Boys, I believe, or City Guys, right. something along those lines and stuff. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. No.
He's definitely listening. So.
Yeah, he's definitely tuned in.
Yeah. Was there no official DJs and PJs set? Because I know that they have a thing that they do usually where they have guys that come up and like they do it on radio where they like ask questions and that sort of thing.
Nah, they kind of like it. The sort of vibe of the party was like way different. They were just doing like some mad political type situations. So there was loads of like you had to cast your votes on like what party was the best party and stuff. So I was representing the dressing gown Democrats.
That was it, yeah.
And then like Dan was representing like UKIP, as in like
UKIP. Yeah.
You know,
come on.
It's just so good. And
who won? Did you find out who won?
UKIP. So yeah.
No fucking way.
They won. So the theme of it was all like keep the day people out, fuck the day people. Like we were all going out. Like it was just brilliant patter. Like really, really funny energy and shit. And then like kind of at the end, everyone just got together and like, right, Loggies, you could play all the last tracks. And he's just now like, what? He's just so confused. There's like no idea what's going on and shit, you know. But yeah, it was a cracking night. But it's great to be in Bristol. Like been down like a few times, obviously. Yeah. It's great crack down here.
You do get to play down here quite a bit, actually. Like I feel like you're sort of quite often bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, I've come through a few times and that, and you know, I feel like a lot of times I just come down, do the set, and get a coach back just like absolutely dying, just from the chaos from the night before. But yeah, all the times we played through here, it's been really good crack. Like played at Motions with Sound Breaks as well, and it was just like insane night there as well. Like just Bristol like hold it down for the music. They just know how to party and go crazy. Like
100%.
all the nights and events that I played down here as well. I think it's like Breaking the Night with the first crew brought us down, and that was like they were super.
Was that your Bristol debut with those guys?
Yeah, that was the first time I was through, man. I think like
I
I'm
remember
pretty sure
you
they got us
played
down.
the Lloyd's TSB.
Oh yeah,
like turbo.
yeah, shit. Oh, who's that by again? I don't even know if I still have it on my USB. But that tune is cursed. That's like too high tier of just like fuckeries. I don't know why I even played it. I think I was just so pissed.
You pushed it to like 200 and something BPM as well, I think.
Yeah, like quite a few times now. It's kind of like becoming a bit of a gimmick, and I need to stop.
It's not a gimmick. It's a stylistic choice, bro. It's not a gimmick.
No, exactly. No, I love those sorts of tunes, like the high, like up tempo pace. I don't know what it is. I just feel like it just sits right when it's like this slower music. It's just like too sleepy for me and shit. But then it's at the same time, like I hear this faster shit, and it just like computes just like normally on a Brave line. I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense. This is cool and shit, and it just, you know, fits really well in the energy to like really like climax the set at the end, and then, you know, add a bit of a spin, especially if you're doing like a closing set, you know, and stuff, or it's for like the right sort of event and shit, you know. Like I played at Tough Act in Manchester, like they hold it down for that sort of like
100%.
high octane, crazy edits, you know, really high BPM stuff, and like, but we're like representing a lot of like the queer scene and shit, and like playing for those guys just like proper just was like, right, I can really show like this side of my shit as well. So it's kind of like, it's just finding them parties that like gel with that sort of energy, and like a lot of promoters now kind of, they book me and kind of expect me to have that sort of crazy high energy at the end, but it also doesn't mean it like strays me from being able to do more like tamer sets as well at the same time. Like I can hold it down for like a techno or like hard house or trancey shit as well. I don't have to then just be like, right, I'm going to go skits now.
Bring out the Lloyd's TSB, mate.
Bring out the Lloyd's TSB, Gabba and that. But I do, the Tough Act one, I mean, even that, like the end of the set, like it was so funny. Like so we got to like, it was like 200, 220 hard style shit. Everyone just going fucking mental. It was so good. It's like all my mates at the front just roaring, like the club packed and stuff. It was sick. And then so Yazis was coming and play after us and shit. And like she comes on behind us here and like, hi, how you doing? Like I'm still like mixing. And like the last tune I was on was this like old Gabba tune by the Scottman or something. It's like like 200 BPM, and it's just like straight drum type shit. Just no silly chords or any crazy Gabba. So it's just 909 fat fucking hats. Just like it's all you fucking need. Like and I was like, oh, okay, well, how can I make this like really slay just to like pass this over? And blended this tune with I'm Just Ken from Barbie, and it like because bro, like there's a piano bit at the start in it, and it's just like really gentle, and so it's like, okay, I've got this empty track with no melodic shit on it. All right, I'll bring Barbie fucking piano, man.
Come on.
It just like fits perfect, and then like bring it out the loop, start getting a bit of fucking Ryan Gosling's beautiful vocals.
Oh, baby. Is Ryan Gosling singing that?
Yeah, he does all the vocals. Yeah, have you not seen the movie?
I'm ashamed to say I've not seen the movie yet. That's embarrassing. That's getting cut out.
Nah, you need to get on that, man. It's a fucking jokes film, but yeah, like that tune as well. Like I love Ryan Gosling with all his fucking shit. I mean, he's buff as well, you know. Like
he's fucking hot.
He does his thing, man. He's like he plays that just like character of just like sad, depressing so well, and it's just like it's great. I love it. It's like I feel you, man. I feel you, mate.
I didn't think we'd be on Ryan Gosling this early on in the episode. Tough Act have got like a really, really great thing going on up in Manchester.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like shout out like Tiger, Mia, like all the fucking gang. Like they're so fucking sound. Like they just know how to like organize a party. They know how to like prioritize like the people in the community, especially in like Manchester, because it was kind of like Manchester's got a really big like queer scene now and stuff, you know, but like a lot of it is just like, you know, disco, house, like techno and stuff like that. There isn't really anything that's like representing those more faster, heavier genres and stuff, which a lot of like the queer scene are really heavy into, especially like at the moment with like, you know, the rise of like Horse Girl and all this sort of shit, you know. So it's really just like empowered that even more and like kind of given that sort of identity as well to like White Hotel and in the scene in Manchester to be like, right, okay, we can put these sorts of nights on and it fucking just slaps so hard, you know? Like,
I've heard White Hotel is such a sick venue as well.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's definitely like one of my favorite clubs. Like I've played in the UK.
Really?
Like, yeah, 100%. Like the sound in there, like the sound engineer is really good. Like how it's all set up as a DJ booth to like play there is really good. But then also just going there as a punter, like I've been there like so many times then, and like all the nights that get created, like lineup wise, are always just fire as fuck. Like they always seem to also get like promoters in there that actually like they're about the music. You know what I mean? It's not just like some just mid shit.
Well, it's a very prestigious club, isn't it? I think they have to be more selective.
I think they've definitely honed it down, like how it is with like, you know, Fold in London and shit like that. They're kind of having this like in-house promotion shit, you know, like kind of like that's the sort of feel like the future towards like the underground scene when it comes to clubbing. It's kind of like having it as a whole basis around that. But I feel like also at the same time, it's like they need to all start like working together as well. Cause like we're all kind of doing all the same thing. And it's kind of like, right, we have similar ethoses like this. So let's kind of like, right, let's help each other out with budgeting and everything like that because of obviously how fucking drastic and mad it is at the moment for clubs and stuff to kind of keep up and stuff.
You mean like different promoters start like
just
together?
like different promoters, different clubs, like artists, everyone kind of needs to really just like figure out like, wait, okay, the solution to all these kind of problems, what we're having with the sense of like budgeting, the sense of like just competition as well, just like this weird, just fake toxicity sort of shit, you know, going around. It's like, we need to just like eradicate that and actually be like, right, we're all doing like the same shit and we all want to do like play in clubs and, you know, create a community and create like a nightlife atmosphere as well. But it's like not to then like have clashes and stuff. So like, oh yeah, this jungle night's on. So then someone else puts on another jungle night and then someone else does. And it's just like, oh, okay, then that just like splits the crowd when really all these collectives could be like, oh, let's just work together and throw like a bigger party and do like everyone here and there and shit and then make the budgeting a little bit more tighter and stuff like that. But then also it kind of correlates together and stuff and everyone grows together when it gets to like sort of the higher levels of like the industry. But you know, it's all different layers with that shit.
It's interesting. Like, I hadn't thought about it like that, but it makes sense. Like if you were to think about if promoters came together and said like, right, I'm doing an event on this date and then like, you know, I could leave some space for a different promoter to do that on this day.
Exactly.
And then you're all benefiting because I guess there's less of that sort of competition
everyone kind of wins at the end of the day, and it's not about like putting on loads and loads and loads and loads of events. It's about like putting on good events at the end of the day, like good quality shit. And I feel like when I went out to China and seeing like how they operate out there and shit, man, like it was just everyone worked with each other, everyone knew each other, and it wasn't just like in like the local cities. And you think like how fucking big China is, like it's huge out there. Like even just like places in Shenzhen, they knew everyone out in Shanghai and they knew everyone in Beijing, and you know it's very all interconnected scene with all the clubs and all the artists and all like the residents and locals. Like they all really work together. And there's only like, I mean, when I was speaking to promoters out there, a lot of them were kind of just like, there wasn't really any beef or any weird stuff. Like the only sort of stories they were telling me of like sketchy shit of like weird competitions was like calling drugs. Like it was like, oh, there's drugs in the club and all this. Just get raided and shit. It was like, what? That is peak as fuck.
Who's swatting different people's venues?
I have no idea, but that's what one of the promoters out there told us. And I was like, yo, that is mad. That is some mad shit.
Crazy.
Like, but they were like, no, they don't. Other than that, there hasn't really been like a lot of that stuff. Like everyone kind of works together because like their club scene is obviously quite new and fresh, and it's still kind of a culturally developing country. I mean, it is a lot now. You know, obviously they've pushed on so much further.
Crazy amounts.
It's so cool out there and shit of how they've kind of adapted. But then, you know, the clubs as well, they're so young and they kind of get shut down here and there, but they still hold together because it's still quite a very underground thing. Like it's a genuine underground sort of business, but it still works and it's legal and it's all okay and shit, you know. But like how it all works and they all work together. So like getting all these international artists through like is going to be like next to impossible if they're only just having, you know, one booking in like one club. You know, so they just stretch it all out and share that fee of that one artist coming over. And then it just sorts things out. So it's kind of like, if we had that sort of mindset when it came to, you know, booking, say, artists from America or like other parts of the world or whatever, you know, it's kind of like that's another initiative of like, promoters working together saying, that fucking dude from, say, South America really wants to tour in Europe and shit.
Yeah.
Let's all work together to help bring this person over.
And you all fund the travel together.
And everyone all
everything.
kind of works together to do that shit. And that's kind of like how they were working out in China. And it's the same with Australia as well, because it's so like just out of the way, isolated as fuck. Like even people out there were like, they really appreciate internationals coming to Oz, because it is just like such a huge journey to go from like Europe and stuff, you know. So they really, really appreciate that. And once again, they do similar sort of things. Like, I mean, their market is a lot more like, it's controlled by like kind of small margin of people and stuff, but they still all work together and make sure it all works for these internationals to come through and like be able to do all these shows in all these different cities and have like a really sick experience. So if we kind of like just kind of took that from these parts of scenes in different parts of the world and kind of like implemented it within our scene, I feel like it would just build things up slowly, that like what we need to actually do to kind of like help like keep things alive and shit, you know. And it also would then just cut down costs on ticket prices, for example, you know,
because ticket prices are fucking crazy.
Yeah, and if promoters can then like stretch the budget more because more people are working together, then that leaves like, they don't need to make as much margin on the ticket profit, so they can do a smaller ticket price. So then, you know, the punters are happy too. So then, and then the nights are selling out, and then they actually make the fucking P back, you know. So it all kind of makes sense. You know, if it's promoted.
You should get into promoting by the sounds of it, bro.
I ain't got the P. I ain't got the P for that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I wish I did. Like it's definitely something I've always been like interested in and shit. But it's like just like I've never had like that mass amount of like accumulated wealth or like saved enough in my work. I mean, I'm shit with money and all this stuff. So it's just like I kind of whenever I was working in like my financy jobs and stuff, I was just like spending money on shit. Like, so I was like, I wish I saved some of that to then put more into music. Now I did do it a lot to obviously help push things at the start of it, push it all out to like over lockdown, like secure myself over lockdown and all that. But yeah, it's just like it's a hard one, because you do have to like risk a lot of money, because as well at the same time it could just be a thing that's not a sense of competition, but just like a sense of like the weather's shit and people don't want to go out, or there's train strikes. You know what I mean? Something mad like that can pop up out of nowhere
and can just ruin your whole fucking
and then that's it. You've
all
lost
that
like,
money you've put in.
Boom, $2,000. See you later.
Because
bye.
it's raining.
Yeah, it was just some bollocks like that, like, or snow. You know what I mean? Like cuts off all the rail lines. Like you're fucked. Like so, it's all that sort of kind of risk as well there, but like that's the whole game, I guess, isn't it? That's the whole game. But I mean, hopefully down the line in the future, it's definitely like something I want to look to do, or like, you know, even just assist people with, you know, like just help them out and shit. Like
how long were you in China for then? Because I don't want to gloss over that, because I think that's just such a fucking crazy thing that you managed to do.
And I still it don't even feel real, like the fact that I've like been out there.
You're still pretty fresh off of it, right? Like it's like a month or two ago or something.
I went out there like it was like mid-November. About around that sort of time, early November, mid-November. And it was mad, because I got shouted by a lovely fella called Mark. He's based out in Shanghai, so he'd done a show with like Lobster B out there. So he mentioned. So I gave him a message like, "Oh, this dude's hollered," and Lobster was just like straight away, just like, "Yeah, fucking go!" Like, he's really cool, he's really sound.
Unreal.
Like, so I was like, right, sweet, I'll hook up with this guy, and he just kind of like held a hand, guided me through, and kind of like managed shit and sorted out loads of dates, and we kind of worked together with different like cities and clubs that I kind of wanted to play out there. So like, for example, in Beijing with Zhao Dai was on the list, because like a few friends like recommended clubs and stuff, and I was like, I heard about it anyway. It's a really like reputable club for like bass music. They got a really cool sound system. They've had like really cool artists there. They always tour like mad people. Like, I mean, I think recently they just had like for the Lunar New Year, they had like CCL and like Object Through and stuff like that.
Mental.
So they get like these high end sort of European artists and shit still. So they don't fuck about. So then to be like honored by them to be like, yeah, we want to to come through. Like Shall Die, for example, like one of the booking promoters, like, yo, I've been buying your music on Bandcamp for like 2 or 3 years and shit. And it's just like that sort of stuff never like calibrates.
There's a disconnect, isn't there?
Yeah, you kind of like don't realize at first, but then when you do realize, it's like, oh shit, this is mad, and you really are like really grateful for that sort of stuff. And the fact of just like how powerful like music actually is, to like that it can travel so far in different worlds, and like, you know, how powerful like SoundCloud and Bandcamp and shit like that actually is, that it reaches like that far out to China. But yeah, just the whole thing of how it all comes together was like really beautiful. It felt like there was a nice fan base for me out there. Like people actually like knew who I was as an artist, and it was really surprising, but also at the same time, just like it was sick. Like everyone was super lovely. Like the artist care was like next level, man.
Really?
Like really fucking good. Like they just sorted everything out. So when it came to like the visa stuff, like we're really handy with all that shit.
Oh yeah, I always forget you have to even do all that shit when you're doing these sort of
so
things.
like, 'cause obviously I don't have an agent or manager. I just do it all myself and shit. So it's like, right, I'm just sat there just trying to fucking do this visa. It's the same with Oz. I'm just trying to do this visa stuff, and I'm there like, oh my god, this fucking bollocks paperwork.
Yeah,
fuck.
no,
it's just like there. It was crazy, and like I had to go like all the way to like Manchester and shit to like sort out my China visa and stuff. Like go back and forth, like go collect it, like leave my passport there, and then come back. It was a fuckery, but it was like it's so worth it. Like you do all this like strenuous shit, and you're like, this is so long. I can't be fucked with it, and all this. And then when you actually get it done and you're actually there, it's like
you're paying in China.
All that fucking stupid shit is just like, mate, what was I even mad about? What was I even going on about? Like, yeah, it was sick. Just like, yeah, the food there as well, bro. Like, just shee. Like the spices. Like, so the first city I played was Chengdu, a place called Axis, and like in Chengdu, they're like really, really well known for their food and food markets, and like their spices. It's like a Xinjiao spice, I think it's called. Okay. And one of the promoters after the gig was like, right, go for some food and stuff. I was like, yes, I want some like local shit. I want to. And he's like, okay, I know a place down the road. Go down the road and stuff, and he's just ordering in like so much fucking food and stuff. I'm just there like, there's only 2 of us. I'm just there like, fuck. He's got so much scran here, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, this is gonna like cost loads as well. So we had like all these mad dishes. So it was like this like fried eggs with like tomatoes and shit. And it was just a really nice combo with spices in that. And then they had like salt and pepper chicken chips sort of things, but then with loads of like veg and spices. But that shit was like so hot. Like it blew my head. Spicy as fuck, bro. Like it was like everyone was always going on like that spice area of Chengdu is like insane. Right. And that dish alone just like fucked me up. I was like, but it was good. It was a good level of spice, not like way over the top where you're like, holy shit, I'm gonna die. Like, you don't need like gallons of yogurt and milk, but it was like that nice flavor.
Picture you in like some like back alley like restaurant in China, it's like guzzling milk. Like, everyone sat around and just like,
what is going on? But there's another dish he ordered was a pig foot broth. Which was an interesting try.
I think I've had a pig's foot before, like not in a broth, but just like fucking
like trotters. Like we have trotters here. Like it's a very common thing. So I was like, I mean, I'll give that a try. That's not like too mad, but like the broth soup itself and everything, it's just like so full of flavor and everything like that. Like, but just everywhere you went in China, so like even Dalian where I played, they all had different flavor palettes and different ways they cooked and shit, you know, because a lot of like the south of like Chengdu and Shenzhen is more like different sort of cooking, and then up in the north is more like barbecues and like dark and like long roasting stuff, and it's all kind of different all over the country. But yeah, it's more spices in the south and then less spice in the north, what I noticed. But some of the shit I had in Dalian, like there was loads of like barbecue stuff, like all the people out there were like they're taking me to these fresh places, and like robot taking like food to my hotel room, like bust out with the fucking like beef in the rice and shit, and he was just all there like talking Chinese to me. I'm just there like, cheers, bro. Thanks, mate. But it was like it was so mind blowing. It was just like, but they were just like so normal about it. It's like, yeah, it's just like this in all our hotels.
It's such like a technologically advanced place.
It's so
right?
smart. Yeah, it's not like all parts of it, obviously, but the main cities and shit. Yeah, like especially Shenzhen, like it's a very like modern city, and like there's loads of crazy futuristic shit out there, and the same with Shanghai as well. Like they are very about like their technology and stuff, and using kind of robots here and there. But it's still kind of like they're still kind of a way off because they still need to like develop like microchips a bit more compared to like other countries doing.
I think sometimes it can be a bit gimmicky, doesn't it? Where it's like it's the robot carrying the food to your room or whatever.
Yeah, but in a sense as well, like it's actually quite. How it works is really good in the sense of like how their culture is. They're very just kind of like private and stuff, and in their own little like areas and worlds and stuff. Like all their little groups of friends and whatnot. Especially like even when they go out eating as well, you can like have a little room to yourself, and then the waiters will just bring in your food when you order and stuff like that. It's like really cool and chill. But then it's the same sort of example where you would have in like a hotel if you just want your own privacy and shit. You don't want to be like coming out of your hotel room, going all the way down to the hotel lobby, picking up food when the driver's coming there. It's like the driver drops it off at the spot, the robot picks it up and then just comes up. It's just like so much more like efficient thinking. Like if more hotels had this in the UK,
how long
like,
until we get that shit, bro? Yeah,
never. Not at this rate. not at this rate, bro. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
We're lucky if we have any people to deliver it to us. Dude. Fucking hell.
No.
What's the actual scene like there? Is it like the sort of stuff that they're into? It sounds like by the people that they've been booking that it is quite similar to the sort of stuff people are into here, or?
No, yeah, 100%. They definitely, it's definitely more on techno leaning. They like a lot of the techno stuff quite a lot. But it's all different clubs too, like different vibes and stuff.
Sure.
So like with Zhao Dai, they definitely have more of a palette of all sorts of genres. I mean, like when I was in Beijing, they had like an ambient night on like the Thursday night. It was Marco Shuttle like doing an ambient set, and then on the Friday he played like a techno set, and then the day after is when myself and MM played, and it was more like, you know, bass music and like, you know, just Jersey and all this different sort of stuff. But like these clubs like are known for that sound, and people who are like into that sort of sound, they come there. So like there's loads of people who are heavy into UK music out there, like really dig it. And I feel like that's a really big thing like all around the world at the moment. Like the UK sound has such a like distinctive sound to it, especially at the moment with like the Limelight, for example, and like I hate to say it, Fred again, but it's like on that, you know, like everyone's kind of like limelighted on that, so then it kind of it spreads around the other people in the
American,
scene.
Right? Or is he English?
He's English, bro.
Is he? It shows you how much attention I'm fucking paying to that shit, bro.
He's American. Fred again is American.
Listen, I mean, I've never even heard him speak, to be honest with you.
No, he's British, man. He's British, yeah.
Are you sure? 100%?
Yeah, 100%. He's British.
Okay,
he's proper London posh boy, right?
Oh, well,
like Nepo baby.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah. But still, at the same time, like, it does shine a light on the rest of the UK, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's always... as much as everyone always memes these things and kind of semi-jealous that they're not in that position. I
think that is part of it, isn't it?
It is that at the end of the day, and like, come on. It's like the dude's like grafting and stuff, but you know, it's also at the same time, it's like, right, well, that also does help everyone else, like, because if a UK artist is doing well, then it shines a lot on everyone, really. Same with like when we have this Grammy for fucking all of that shit going through now. It's like that's a huge thing for grime now, and that brings shit.
I couldn't believe that he, obviously Flowdown winning the Grammy, I couldn't believe that he was the first UK MC to ever win.
That's mad shit,
That's
you know.
crazy.
So like that sort of stuff, as small as it actually may seem, that it's like just shining a light maybe on grime, the bigger picture of it is like, oh, like that's such a big thing, isn't it? Like grime's so huge here and stuff, and then we now have like integrated that within all sorts of music, like especially with my own tunes and stuff. I like to integrate like grime with techno and dance sort of stuff as well. So it's like, oh, well, it's all just beneficial really at the end of the day, and kind of like highlights like what we are as like a kind of a country with what we export. And you know, all these places like China and like Australia and all these other parts of the world, they really are starting to like dig this sort of UK sound and shit. So I feel like we kind of need to really push that and be like, right, well, we've got some really cool, talented people coming out here. Not to obviously say that there's nothing coming out of all around the world. Like there's bare talented people from all over, obviously. But I feel like because we have like some really reputable like education system with music, and you know, we've got some really good things when it comes to like the clubs of the sound systems and shit like that, and festivals and all that sort of stuff, like Glastonbury and all that shit, you know. So it kind of just like makes things like, oh, that we're just this big musical thing, like when we always kind of have been, you know. So we need to like kind of lean on that a bit more.
I think as well, like from my understanding, like other countries like Australia especially is one that I've noticed, is that they obviously are super into that sort of UK sound, but I always find that maybe they're like sort of like 6 months behind. I
don't know, like
or?
I feel I don't know if they're like too far behind, but they're a little bit behind. But I think that's just because they're isolated.
Not behind in a bad way, but you know,
no,
it's just like,
not at all. I feel like at the moment, especially in Australia, they've got some of like the top like hard groove techno producers
true. Actually,
at the moment.
You're so right. Yeah,
they got all sorts of man coming out from there at the moment. You got like X Club, Ned Bennett, and shit like that.
Of course.
Like fucking Skin on Skin. You know, there's loads of really fucking dope producers, like all championing themselves from there, and then now they're coming, their sounds like adapted all the way through to like Europe and the UK now and shit, you know. So I feel like in a sense they're kind of in the future with some genres, but then they're behind in others, you know. So when it comes to like more like jungle, for example, they don't have as big as a scene out there, but like when it comes to like techno-y stuff, because they have a lot of champions for that sound, I feel like they are much more pioneering that sound a lot more, like kind of correlating with this European techno sound with their sort of sound, you know.
When does it, because like if all these different cultures, all these different countries are sort of taking influence from one another, as we become a more like connected world, and you know, as you're collaborating with more people in different parts of the world, when does it stop becoming like a UK centric sound or like a Euro centric, and when does it just become like
a global sound? Yeah, exactly. I feel like, because like, especially when it is like, well, like Europe isn't even like the centric sound when it comes to, say, for example, techno. Like techno is a American sound, like from Detroit. Like, so
of course,
people always forget that and shit. Like people like are so heavy into all the hard techno fucking shit at the moment. It's all just Europeans, and a lot of these people who like, yes, I love techno and stuff, but they don't even fucking know like who One Atkins is. And shit like that. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, how can you just like completely forget that? So I do get where you're coming from. Like, it still is a global sound, but like what I mean in the sense of like the UK sound is like this grime sound, this bass sound that we have, because our rigs and sound systems are just like, bro, like I've had German mates come through, like come to the UK, and the first night he got to Leeds and shit, there was a rig off sort of thing.
Right, loads
of sound systems, all in the same, like Freedom Mills, all just clashing each other, taking it in turns, and he fucking loves like dub and reggae and all this shit. Took him there, and he was just like, honestly, like, just like he was saying, like, I've never heard low end like this in my life. Like he was loving it. And
Leeds has got crazy systems actually.
Yeah, dude.
Around there, that's like
Leeds holds it down for like the bass and sub stuff, and like obviously sub dub you were through there doing stuff there. Like they hold it down, but like not to even forget like the Chapeltown sort of scene and like Iration Steppers and stuff. Like they do so much for like the Leeds community when it comes to like music. It's actually fucking mad, and people don't even like know who they are half the time and shit. But like, these guys are fucking legends in Leeds. Like they're fucking dons, and like they've held it down for like the dub and like sound system community for so long, and then also like helped people then build their own sound systems and grow and do their own things as well. So it's all very like community when it comes to sound systems.
Why is it that you think that some people just aren't aware of that, even though they're aware of all this other stuff that's like almost stems from that sort of sphere of influence?
Uneducated students.
Yeah, okay.
simple as that. It's like students that have come up just from like, you know, they it's not to blame them in the sense of like, oh, you don't know good music, mate. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's more the fact of like I see from their perspective, like I was born in Northampton, a fucking dead heap town when it comes to club nights and shit. Like all we had was like
big up Northampton massive. Come on,
shout out in.
What's the postcode?
Double N. Double N shit like that. Yeah. Huge. Fucking massive shit. No, but like we didn't really have that many good clubs there and shit. So like I completely understand the perspective of like these students who then like move to these bigger cities and stuff and don't know who these people are. But when they get to know, they're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Now I know, because that's exactly like kind of like how I was being in Northampton, like, of course I knew about like shit here and there. Like, it was a good vinyl shops there and stuff. So kind of got my own knowledge from that. But like, in the sense of club nights there was only like my mates putting on like free party stuff at like little grotty pubs and shit, which would play like the jungle, the hardcore, gabba, drum and bassy sort of stuff. But then like the commercial main clubs was just like R&B,
Pop World,
Pop World sort of vibes. So it was like, what culture is that when it comes to music? Of course you're not going to learn anything other than what's in like the mainstream stuff, and then just all that shit's just the same, just repetitive like formulas of just like songwriting and stuff, you know. So it's kind of like, well, of course these people don't know what like these rooted sound systems and this like culture is, because they've come from a town that doesn't even fucking have any of that shit. And that's, I feel like that's another thing as well that the UK really needs to look into, is shit like that, is like really regrowing smaller town scenes, because all it is now is cities. Like,
there's like 4 cities where everything happens.
Exactly. Like where are we like as artists to then just like bun off cities like Durham, and, you know, just little smaller places and stuff. Like, they do have clubs there and they do have a scene there and shit, but then to not actually like give it a chance to go there and perform as an artist because you're like, oh, it's not enough money and it's a little shitty town. It's like, no, you need to like kind of be keen for it, and
someone
stuff,
has
like,
to be the first person to
kind of still push it. And I feel like the only thing that's lacking in these towns is just the funding, obviously, from the governments, or like people not really having the like, once again, the risk assessment to kind of go into, oh, I'm going to start a club, or I'm going to start doing promoting in this city, but more underground, and push it more and promote it. But I feel like that would really also then help shit as well, you know, like when it comes to that sort of stuff, like smaller towns then like building a sound and building an education. So then it's a more nationwide thing, and than not just like, oh, you have to go to these cool uni cities to like have an understanding of some form of music or stuff, or live in London, for example, you know.
How long were you in? Obviously, so you grew up in Northampton.
So I was born in Northampton. Grew up there most of my life.
Were you doing music stuff there at all?
Nah. So that was just where I went to school and shit. Like, in and out here and there, like moving around, like jobs and stuff. Like, I did accounting and finance and all that shit. That was like my stuff I was studying and all that.
Little smarty pants.
Nah, it's like, bro, it's honestly just like the most blag shit. I just, my brain clicks to like number stuff for some reason. It's just them, but still at the same time, I'm not that clever with all of it either. Like, because I'm like rubbish with savings myself. Like, fuck that.
You can do it for other people. But,
I can do it for other people myself. But it's just like I kind of got into that sort of work there. But like I was saying, it's like I was getting into music and like always really, really wanted to produce, like throughout, like when I got to college and stuff, mainly because like at college they had like quite a lot of like music facilities and stuff, but I was doing like A-levels and shit. So I was doing like photography and accounting and all this
photography
fucking
and
shit.
accounting.
Yeah, they had some really cool courses.
That's a hell of a combo, mate.
There's it's like photography, accounting, and business, and flopped them all. But who gives a fuck? It was one of them. Like, but it was still, kind of just went through there, just did my like work and dues like at different companies. Like worked for Travis Perkins. Do you know who they are?
The construction sort of wholesale guys.
Well, they're like a mega company.
Big up Travis Perkins, you get me?
No,
but you can have that one for free, guys.
No, but they were really good. Like they took me on really early. I was only like 19 and shit, on a good salary and stuff, you know. So I never went to university or any of that shit. Like I just worked, innit? But I was just, like I was saying, getting fed up of Northampton, and it's just like, yo, I need to get the fuck out of here and stuff. And most of my family are all from Leeds. So like my mum's from Leeds, and she moved down to Northampton, and then kind of that's kind of where we grew up. But I'd been going up to Leeds since I was like a baby, because my nan used to live up there. She'd take care of us, and then we had like my uncles up there. It's my big family in Leeds. So I was going up there loads. So it is kind of like my second home anyway. So I was like, oh fuck it, I'll go up there. Like I had a lot of mates at uni there and shit. So kind of just went through and like immersed myself there and shit. And there we are. Like,
when did you first start like making tunes then? When did that happen?
I mean, I wouldn't say like I was into like music production for like really, really long, since I was probably like 16.
Okay.
But I never really like had like a good enough laptop and speakers and the whole like fucking spiel with it all, until I started like working a bit more and being able to like, okay, I can start doing shit with this now. And it was probably when I was about like 19, 20, I'd say. It was when I was actually like, okay, I can now start producing in a door, but I wasn't like releasing anything or doing shit.
What year
with
would
it.
that have been?
Well, I'm 27 now,
Right,
what fucking long.
2016 or something?
Yeah, like, so quite a while ago, like, but it was all just like shit trap.
I was gonna
stuff,
say, yeah. What were you into?
wank,
What were you making?
Just like trappy, techno-y stuff and all
yeah.
this. It's like nothing good. But I was using like Logic and shit, and like because I didn't go to like uni or any of that to like learn the program properly. And I was just relying on YouTube, and just some of the YouTube shit for like Logic is just like, bro, there's nothing there. So like compared to now, there's loads of courses and shit. It's really good now. There's loads of stuff out there for people to get on that shit, like all the masterclass stuff. And
Yeah,
all
it's
this
crazy.
Shit. Yeah,
Man.
there's
so
much shit. But like back then, it was just like shitty YouTube tutorials and like, but people like who couldn't even make a tune trying to teach you, and you're just there like trying to take it in like conceptually, but you can't.
Using their laptop microphone, being like, today I'm gonna show you
this is how you make a techno beat, and then it's just like the most wank tune. Like, I do not want to learn from this guy. So like there was quite a lot of that with Logic and shit, and I was like, oh, I really want to get Ableton and all that. But this is when I was up in Leeds now at this point, I'd say, and I was like, oh, I really want to get Ableton. Was trying to like crack it and all that shit, and it's just like, oh, I'll just try and save for it. I was still working doing accounts then, like when I was in Leeds, just like all these different jobs here and there and stuff. Like that, I was working for Burberry, like that's where that's the whole name Cheq kind of like comes from, is working for them for a bit in Leeds and shit, and just kind of like sacked it off because it was just long.
So the name, it's obviously Cheq because you were doing accounts, right?
Yeah, like so paying a check and all this sort. So we were doing Cheq. Like I was in like the purchase teams and stuff. So like we were sorting out all these fucking boring stuff, but it was quite a high end sort of crazy job what they expected me. I was doing shit for like accounts in like Australia, Malaysia, and Singapore.
You're a big dog, mate.
Doing the big dog stuff, mate.
You could have been Mr. Burberry if you hadn't on there for long enough.
I could have just been Mr. Cheq, like the actual guy. I could have just like stuck out. Nah, fuck that, bro.
Imagine.
That.
Oh my god.
Nah, it was all right. It was good. They had a 6 sample sale. I managed to get some mad shit from there.
Yeah, because you're always dipped, man. Like you're always fucking so dipped.
I stay
the
steezy
hat as well. I like the hat.
Stay steezy. Big up Gwen. But like I've always been into fashion like for fucking time, man. Like I'm a little fashionista. Like I feel like my mum tried to dress me loads as a kid,
right?
And then I just had enough. And I was like, fuck this shit. I'm doing my own steez now. You don't know what's good. What
was your mum dressing you in?
Oh, some mad shit, man.
No shade to the mums, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, like she's trying. I know she was trying. Like shout out mum, obviously, but she was trying hard. But even she knows now.
What was it? A Gap, a little next thing.
You know, like they're all just shit dungarees. Just like the
dungarees.
I was, to be fair, she did get me drippy with the socks and sandals from young.
Yes,
there's a picture of me in like socks and sandals, and I was like, Mum, that's probably the steeziest fit you probably got for me when I was a kid. Everything else you seemed to have me in was just mad. Like all these crazy weird shirts and stuff, all this different shit. But then so I was always into like fashion, like and you know, like so working for Burberry and shit as a company, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, that's like ideal for me because it kind of aligned with, oh, okay, I can make my accounting financing a little bit less boring because it's actually something to do with like what I'm actually interested in. Because I always was like going around like charity shops and shit like that, like hustling of all that stuff. Like when I was like way younger, like just trying to find cheap clothes but like nice brands and stuff.
Were you like reselling or?
Yeah, I was doing that for a little bit and shit, like on Depop when like Depop first started and stuff. But then like kind of just phased out with it all and kind of stopped bothering with it and shit, and just kept a few bits here and there, you know, just trade, sell, find bits here and there. It's just interesting, isn't it? Like I like different brands and different styles and like how fashion trends kind of change and all that sort of stuff as well, and like just as well like the art form of it as well. There's like so many different sorts of designers out there and shit, and so many different styles that you can like recross shit with and that.
It's become like quite synonymous with like the music scene, like DJing and stuff as well now, I think.
Oh yeah, 100%. No,
like the two of them go hand in hand now almost.
Yeah, I mean like it's all kind of just like creative culture sort of thing, because it is like an art form, fashion. It does then go hand in hand with that sort of shit. So you do get these like DJs now are just like got the fucking steez drip, you know.
Yeah.
But they're just getting in the fucking $2,000 fucking booking fees.
Well,
That's why they're getting the steez. But you got the best. That's the thing though. What you have to do with this whole like finding garms and stuff, which is what I enjoy the most, is finding stuff for cheap. That's like good quality. You know what I mean? Bargain hunting stuff.
Well, that was a cracking episode, wasn't it? I hope you'll agree. Absolutely love Nova. Got so much love for him. Had a wicked time hanging out with him. Don't get to see him very often because obviously he lives on the other side of the blooming country. But whenever he comes down to Bristol, it's always a pleasure. But if you want to hear more of our incredible conversation, you know what to do. Head over to patreon.com/belters right now and join the Belters Club for only £5 a month. We spoke about his work with Samurai Breaks, various other musical endeavours in terms of when he started producing and his journey throughout that, which I thought was quite interesting. And yeah, there's just a whole bunch of other goodies on there that you get. £5 a month. Like I said, pretty good value. So get yourself over there. What else? Oh yeah, make sure to rate 5 on Spotify and like on SoundCloud and YouTube. I always get a nice feeling in my tummy whenever that happens. So go ahead and do that. Okay, this is the end of the episode now. See you lot next week for a little bit more of the Chatting Breeze goodness. Yeah, I'm recording this quite late. I'm very tired again, so I'm going to go to bed now. Good night.